I spent $8,000 to jolt me out of inaction. And here is what happened. Someone I will call Isaiah applied for Craftsman today. And on the form, I ask this question: why are you interested in Seth showing you how to make a lot of money teaching what you love while changing lives? And here is how Isaiah responded. Having known Seth since 2016 as a member of Jod, that was my last coaching company, I learned the FBA business model from him. Now I generate millions of dollars annually with healthy profits, allowing me to live a life of freedom. So I want to ask you this: how could two different people take the exact same training, and one makes millions resulting in a life of freedom, and the other makes zero? It's for the same reason George W. Bush became president, while Kenneth McDuff, who had the same 24 hours a day, lived in the same country, grew up in the same state, turned into a convicted serial killer who was executed. It reminds me of the two brothers. Both grew up with a drunkard father. One became a drunkard just like his dad and ended up homeless. The other never touched a bottle of alcohol his entire life, and he ended up with a beautiful wife and children and launched a lucrative career. Yet both brothers had the same drunkard dad. So what made the difference between one and the other? It is that one believed that he was doomed to be like his dad, and the other believed that he could be the very opposite. Both brothers lived out their core beliefs. A single belief can change the course of your life. The disciples of Jesus went from terrified men running from the temple guards and became bold preachers who ended up being murdered for their faith in Jesus. What shifted? Their belief. They witnessed Jesus alive after his brutal death, and it changed everything. So I have a question for you. Do you actually believe that you can make it? Do you actually believe that you can build a business that succeeds and makes money and creates freedom for you and your family? Isaiah believed, and he made millions. And he took the same training that some others took who didn't make millions, of whom did nothing. You see, Isaiah is not interested in craftsmen to survive, but so that he can stack his wins and help even more people while creating yet another stream of income for him and his family. And that is such a great example of the momentum of succeeding. When you start winning in one area, it encourages you, it motivates you, and you're ready for the next challenge. And yeah, you're gonna hit obstacles, you're gonna hit bumps, you're gonna fall on your face a few times, but you keep getting up. Just like Solomon said in Proverbs, the righteous man falls 7 times. Wait a minute, Solomon. I thought he was righteous. Righteous people don't fall. Wrong. Every man who's ever walked the face of this earth has fallen so many times, it's countless. But the difference is the second half of the verse. Solomon says, and he keeps getting back up again. Isaiah kept getting back up again. But why? Because he believed he could and would win. Is it any wonder why Jesus said, if your faith is as small as a mustard seed, little tiny itty bitty seed, it can move a mountain into the ocean? I don't think he was speaking in hyperbole. His point was, God is so gracious, all you need is just a grain of sand. You know, when you say that prayer, you've been praying for someone to come back to God or to heal for the longest time. And even when you pray, you're like, man, do I even believe this? Maybe just barely. And then God blows your mind and answers the prayer, and you're like, wow, my faith was smaller than a mustard seed, and God just moved a mountain. Now, an appropriate question would be this: Seth, how can I know if I really believe? Here's how. Set your life up so that not following through will cost you something precious. This happened to me when I built my first course. When I launched, I had no sales. And I tried everything: funnels, organic marketing, ads. I would tweak the landing page. I changed my header I don't know how many times. I would send emails. I tried lead magnets, tripwires, all the marketing stuff. Literally, this is not an exaggeration. I'm not speaking hyperbolically. I spent hundreds of hours trying and failing. And then I heard about this crazy guy from New Zealand, Sam Ovens, who started in his parents' garage and built his consulting coaching business to 80 million. And I knew I needed to buy his consultation program. But I kept putting it off month after month. I'd always say I'm going to do it, had a great plan, but I kept putting it off. And then finally, I came to the realization that I can keep thinking and planning forever, but nothing will change until I commit. And that is when I made a decision. I am buying Sam Ovens' program to force myself to commit. I mean, even if the only remaining motivation is just to make myself do it, I'm doing it. And so I did. And I ended up buying two of his programs. One cost me $2,000, the other one $6,000. So we're talking about $8,000. You want to know what's funny? That $8,000 was the best expense I ever made when it comes to my business. And not even because of his content. Don't get me wrong. His content was great. But it turns out I already knew over 80% of the content. It's the sacrifice of the $8,000 that made that loss too great if I didn't follow through. And that is when I broke the 100,000 barrier in 90 days. Listen, everything in life worth achieving is going to cost you something. Achieving yours and my eternal forgiveness, that cost Jesus his very life. Gives you a really big hint on how much he values you and me. You cannot build a business without sacrifice. The only question remains is this: do you believe it is worth it?